Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise is brought to you in partnership with Drive Media and Consulting and their premier sponsors. Subscribe on your favorite streaming platforms and share. If you just found us, welcome. And if you're a regular, welcome back. Denise DiGrigoli has spent her life in the creative industries as an entrepreneur, helping people transform their visions into thriving businesses, working with individuals and teams to find their purpose and live their life vibrantly. On her pod, Denise delivers business intel and life hacks with wit and wisdom in short shots like a strong espresso with a solid sense of humor. Enjoy this episode of Mav's Coffee Clarity, and here's Mav.
Hey, you're on Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise. We're a show designed to move you forward with maverick wisdom for work, life, and self-care. And come on, who doesn't need that? When I'm not interviewing Mavericks, it's just me with a little short shot, and that's what we're doing today. First of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I'm looking forward to another glorious trip around the sun. And if you remember last year, I did the short shot from my backyard as well. I want to share a couple of stories with you today so that you understand why I even do Mav's Coffee Clarity with Denise, because these questions have been coming up. So growing up in the Berkshires, my mother had a neighbor that was a very, very, very dedicated family woman. I believe she might have had 5 children. And back in the day, she didn't drive. And I don't think she worked. I think that she got some sort of, weekly grocery money, allowance, whatever you want to call it. I know that's not a popular word. Don't kill the messenger, but I want to tell you the story. So she used to get some sort of stipend from her husband, who she loved very dearly, married to him till death do you part. But anyways, the story goes like this. She used her resources. She was the OG thrifter, right? The OG couponer, the whole 9 yards. And I remember my mother telling me a story that she told her to just protect the names of the innocent who are no longer with us. We'll call her Weenie. Weenie said to my mother, listen, you're going to make a lot of mistakes in your life, okay? You're just going to make a lot of mistakes. That's what happens. Life is for living. And so watch the other people that went before you, especially other women, and, see what you liked about their life, what you didn't, and learn from their quote-unquote mistakes so that you don't repeat those mistakes, because you're going to make your own. And my mother shared that wisdom with me. So it's not that I copied anyone else. It's not that people's, misgivings, rights, wrongs, wherever, ruled my life. But yeah, you make a lot of choices in life, some that don't work out. So when you learn from other people, you learn from sometimes their stories, their methodologies, how they made it, how they stumbled and failed, and how they got back up and had silver linings. It just helps you. And that's sort of a very short snippet of the maverick wisdom that was in our small community. I think I grew up in a town of 1,800 people. I don't think that's too much different to this day. I think there's about 1,800 people still back home in that little town in the Berkshires. So over the course of my life, running businesses, starting businesses that fledgled, moved along slowly or didn't make it, were part of my experience, right? But many did. And so my grandmother used to say, if you want to be a success, you absolutely need to make or help someone else be a success. Not make someone else a success, but help them. In other words, that old adage, feed a person a fish, he eats for a day, or she, or whomever, eats for a day. Teach them how to fish, they eat for a lifetime. So Mav's Coffee Clarity was born out of 2 things. Just to share knowledge and stories, not stories that were death-defying per se, and traumatic, although they could be, but to share stories of grit, creativity, resiliency, to help other people move forward, right? Sort of the old Weenie adage. Listen to other people's stories, learn from their transformations, challenges, their silver linings, and then do you. But, and yet, I don't like the word but, I always say yet. I was at the Connecticut Press Club a week or so ago when they were giving out the awards. And thank you to all that have acknowledged that Mav's Coffee Clarity won Connecticut Press Club Best Podcast. And I think I've got my marketing messages down pat. That's what we do over at Drive Media. We help people with their brand, their marketing messages, their strategic planning, their business development, their experiential events, how to get on stage, how to be in any form of media. Yet, Mav was caught a little off guard. Mav is my stage name, but we'll get to that in a minute. Someone said, "So, what is your show about?" So I said, it's business intel and life hacks, one cup, one conversation at a time. And they said, "So what kind of show is it?" And I said, "It is a business lifestyle show. We don't dispense advice. It's like coffee with your best strategic friend. And if you're listening in and you pull a little something out that you take along with you, that resonates with you and it helps you move forward, then we've done our job." And so that was a little learning curve for me right there. That was a little, weenie moment for me. And no matter how buttoned up we are, and no matter how tried and true we are, we've got the message, we've got the materials, we've practiced. Every once in a while, you need a little more. So Mav's Coffee Clarity was born, we're now in season 2, out of the need to share stories, but to do it with wit and wisdom. A lot of people, it's like so many shows maybe tell stories very matter of fact, very passionately, very dramatically. We do it with wit and wisdom and humor. And the reason why I do it that way is because during COVID, I found myself taking stand-up comedian classes. Why? It was on my bucket list. I was at the Ridgefield Playhouse for many years as a member, and we enjoyed all the shows. And I always wanted to try stand-up comedy, but I was afraid. And I kept seeing the teacher, Christine O'Leary, who was the artistic director back then, running these fabulous classes that were sold out. And one night, Troy and I were coming out of a show, and I saw her. I saw her at the door, and I said, "Hey, do you have any room?" And she's like, "We're sold out, but you got to get your name on the list." So I was like, all right, it wasn't meant to be. But I did put my name on the list, and believe it or not, 3 days later, there was a cancellation, and I was in. And this was in November of 2019, right before the pandemic hit. And, the exhilaration of being able to learn to write differently, because when you write in marketing versus when you write stand-up comedy, two separate parts of the universe, my friends, 2 separate parts of the universe. So I really had to change my mindset, because now I'm writing stand-up comedy, and that's crazy. Like Christine O'Leary will tell you, comedy seeks to tell the truth, solve a problem, your point of view, share your emotion. Marketing directs the message of the brand towards the audience it's intended for. And it can be long-winded, whereas comedy is short, right? 5-minute set is what you start. So it was a whole new mindset I had to learn. And boy, was she phenomenal. And no, I'm not being paid to say any of this. And my classmates, my colleagues in our comedy troupe were phenomenal. And I blasted out of that canon November 19th, 2019, and it was exhilarating. It's kind of like, the first time you go in the candy store and you just go hog wild with your favorite candy, and you just don't know what happened to you. You're on a sugar high. So then the pandemic hit, and everybody went to online. Well, I didn't mind trying that. It actually gave me wider exposure. I jumped online with Second City Chicago, the Armory in New York, the Comedy Festival out of Jersey, and of course with Christine O'Leary. So I really practiced comedy, and I learned how to write short. And for those of you that know that I'm long-winded, that was a good thing, to write short and to learn to punch up and not punch down and all that technicality. Boy, when you learn the craft, you really have an appreciation for those that have made it. It's sort of like a competitive sport, like, in our family, it's skiing. And the people that make it to the top of the funnel in Olympian skiing, there's a lot of work there. Same thing with stand-up comedians. And there's tons of stand-up comedians that are absolutely phenomenal that unfortunately never get found out to that level of stardom like a a Jerry Seinfeld or a Amy Schumer or, and so on and so on and so on. Dave Chappelle. I mean, there's so many I love. Lily Tomlin, Lucille Ball, just go on and on. So, I now see I'm getting off the track because I'm not in stand-up comedy anymore. So I had a few runs at the comic strip, and I really enjoyed that. And I was getting busy in my consulting business because the pandemic was coming to a near end, thank heavens. And we started to do, we'll call it regular business. But I really love the joy that comedy gave us. And it brought levity. It made tough situations easy. It made easy situations funny and doable and relatable. It just was like, everybody knows there's benefits to comedy, to laughing, to letting your hair down. And there's all different genres of comedy. And my whole stick was, self-employed, overjoyed, Italian American, working mom. And I loved it. But as I got busy at Drive Media and Consulting and started to go back into full-on sales consulting and training and teaching people how to get on stage, get on a podcast, write their best presentation for a panel in Vienna or any number of things, my comedy time shrunk. Because when you're new in comedy, you got to go get time on stage. And yeah, Troy, my husband, he was thrilled to drive me to Manhattan in the middle of the night to, get 5 or 10 minutes of comedy time at places like the comic strip and had a ball. Anyways, long and short, I said, you know what? I need to still be able to do this and I need to still be able to do me. So I'm going to do something that allows me to have a show that I can do anytime. Like I'm in my backyard right now. It's 7:45 and I'm getting ready to drive to Massachusetts after I share my time with you. And I like that. And so the show isn't stand-up comedy, but we do bring on people of all walks of life that are creative, entrepreneur, business-driven, innovators, change makers that are mavericks in their own right. They've navigated through something. Now, where's Mav come from? You might have heard me tell the story, but I'm going to tell it again. In this lovely 6th decade, there was, I don't know who it was, but someone was picking on Ava, my daughter, and her unibrow, okay? This is your superpower, okay? When you're a mother and you give them the eyebrow, okay, eyebrow up, or one eye. My dogs can even understand my eyebrow language. Like, don't screw with the superpower, the eyebrow. Anyways, the girls were lamenting at the counter. I think it was middle school. Someone was picking on her unibrow and calling her ugly. I was like, hold up, okay? Obviously, this mother does not understand the superpower of the eyebrow, unibrow, set of brows, whatever you want to call it. Ask Sophia Loren, okay? Your eyebrows tell the story, my friends. And where's the word kindness here? We're being bullied over our hair, our actual hair? Give me a break. I was like, either someone needs to talk to that girl, you ladies, you friends, or, I don't want to be one of those helicopter moms, but enough is enough. We're not going to be talking about our hair, okay? No. And, they need to be enlightened. Your hair is your unibrow superpower. And one of Ava's friends turned to me and said, oh my gosh, Ava, your mom is a savage. Now back, I don't know, we're going back 10 years now. Savage was an urban word used by the kids, cool, radical, rebel, whatever, outspoken. I don't know because I don't follow the Urban Dictionary all the time, but they called me a savage. And then it went to Mom Mavage, like, the all-knowing, I don't know, definitely not a shaman, but whatever. Although I appreciate shamans, not a shaman. So Mav became sort of my internal house name, right? And if there was like some kind of beef going on somewhere in the family or, silly beef, they would say, how does Mav feel about that? And Mav is just really a term for a maverick, right? A person who has tenacity, grit, a little fearless, a lot of courage, compassion, kindness, authenticity. So when I got into comedy, my stage name was Mav. And I just took it along into my business, intelligence, and life hacks show because it's fun. It's like, are you a Mav? Are you a Maverick? I hope you are. And I believe everybody has been a Maverick for a minute, a moment, a month, or a lifetime. And that's all you really need, right? That's all you need, really, a good, strong cup of coffee and a little Maverick wisdom as you navigate through life. And I have to give a call out to my friend Liz Chantel, who runs the Glam Garage, who came up with MAVigator, a community of MAVigators, people that are living authentically, helping others. Together we all move forward, sharing our gifts, sharing our stories, sharing our weenie trials and tribulations, so that maybe, you don't make the exact same mistake. You find some kind of silver lining and you pluck it out and you go along. So that is my Maverick moment for you, my friends. The show is on weekly. I try to, next level it up every time. We've done some great interviews with great people, from knowns to unknowns. I hear that we might be up for some other kind of award, but it's not about the awards. It's about sharing ideas and stories, and this is the way I get to do it without running around and trying to find 5 minutes of stage time, or writing blogs nonstop, or pulverizing my social media with my little antidotes of Maverick wisdom. I really appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you liking and sharing. I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate everything you do, because you matter. And, the show brings on a lot of local folks, but we also have national folks that come on. So we don't limit ourselves. There are no shoulds, right? I say, don't should on yourself, don't should on me, and just laugh together no matter what we're doing, no matter how big that business project is, the biggest deal, the most challenging thing that's going on in your lives, work, family, whatever. You got to find a little levity. And you got to have a good cup of coffee with a friend and get some wisdom. Not gossip, wisdom. All right? So that's what's happening over here at Mav's Coffee Clarity. Drive Media, we offer strategic consulting in the way of brand development, business growth, business development, and helping you get on stage in any form of media, meaning in your website, on your socials, on a podcast, on a TED Talk, in a presentation, anything. My father would say, she's the telephone operator. She never stops talking, but only good words and good talking. All right, peace out, my friends. Mav's taking the day off tomorrow for her birthday, okay? I'm so appreciative of you. Please follow me, comment, tell me what you think, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.